It was a warm night on June 28, 1997, inside the roaring MGM Grand Arena in Las Vegas. The world waited, breathless. This was not just another fight. It was revenge, redemption, and rage, all colliding in one ring. On one side stood Mike Tyson, the man once called the baddest man on the planet. His eyes were cold, focused, and full of fire. Across from him stood Evander Holyfield, the disciplined warrior who had already beaten Tyson once and silenced the myth of his invincibility. Tonight, Tyson had one mission: to destroy the man who took his pride. As the crowd screamed, the camera zoomed in. Sweat glistened on Tyson's face, his jaw tight, his gloves twitching. Holyfield bowed his head in prayer, calm as stone, ready to face the storm. The bell rang. Round 1. Tyson charged forward like a raging bull, throwing heavy punches, testing Holyfield's defense. But Evander, the tactician, absorbed the storm and answered with precise counters. Each blow was a reminder that this was not going to be easy. The atmosphere was electric, flashes of cameras, echoes of fists hitting flesh, and the smell of adrenaline in the air. The commentators whispered that Tyson didn't look like himself, too angry, too emotional. Holyfield kept smiling, frustrating him even more. Every second built tension. Every round felt like a ticking bomb waiting to explode. The crowd could sense it. Something was off. Something dangerous was coming. This wasn't just a boxing match anymore. It was personal. And as the bell ended round 1, Tyson glared across the ring, breathing hard. The camera caught that look, a storm brewing behind those eyes. No one in that arena, not even Tyson himself, knew that what was coming next would change the history of boxing forever. Round 2 began with thunder. Tyson charged like a beast released from its cage. His punches were fast, violent, desperate. But Holyfield, calm, composed, unshaken, absorbed the blows like a wall made of iron. He countered with perfect precision, each punch calculated, controlled, cold. The crowd roared as Tyson missed another wild hook. Holyfield smiled, that same confident grin that had haunted Tyson since their first fight. That grin made him furious. The tension was unbearable. You could feel the air burning inside the arena. Tyson's eyes were filled with rage, not just toward Holyfield, but toward everything he had lost. The fame, the respect, the fear he once commanded. Each failed punch added fuel to that fire. Holyfield's strategy was brilliant. Frustrate him, make him emotional, and let him destroy himself. By the middle of round 2, the referee had already warned both fighters for rough tactics. Tyson pushed, Holyfield shoved, and the crowd could sense the animosity boiling over. This wasn't just boxing anymore. This was pure hate being thrown through gloves. Then, as the bell rang, Tyson stared at Holyfield, breathing heavily. His lips moved, whispering something no one could hear. His anger was becoming uncontrollable. Round 3 started. Holyfield landed a clean right hand that snapped Tyson's head back. The crowd erupted. Tyson's legs wobbled slightly, his pride wounded. He glared with wild eyes, a man no longer fighting to win, but to hurt. Then came a clash of heads, accidental or not. No one could tell. Tyson grabbed his head in pain, accusing Holyfield of headbutting him. The referee tried to calm him down, but something inside Tyson had already snapped. His face changed. His breathing deepened. That wasn't the look of a fighter anymore. That was the look of a predator. And then, in the chaos of round 3, the unthinkable happened. Tyson stepped in close, pressing his head against Holyfield's shoulder. The crowd expected an uppercut, but what came next stunned the planet. In one quick, shocking motion, Tyson bit down on Holyfield's right ear. Holyfield screamed in agony, jumping back with blood streaming down his neck. The arena froze. The commentators went silent before one voice shouted, "He bit him! He bit him!" Referee Mills Lane rushed in, confusion all over his face. Holyfield clutched his bleeding ear, yelling in disbelief. Tyson stood there, eyes burning, mouth covered in blood, his opponent's blood. It was the most shocking moment in boxing history. The audience erupted into chaos. Fans shouted, threw drinks, and demanded the fight be stopped. But after minutes of confusion, Mills Lane, somehow, allowed the fight to continue. The bell rang again, but Tyson was no longer fighting within rules. Fury had completely consumed him. He rushed Holyfield again, clinched him tight, and did it again. Another bite, another scream. This time there was no coming back. Holyfield turned in rage. The referee broke them apart, and the ring exploded into madness. Tyson roared like an animal, claiming Holyfield had headbutted him first, but no one cared anymore. The fight had turned into a nightmare. The crowd booed. Reporters shouted. Security moved closer to the ring. The sport of boxing had just witnessed a moment it would never forget. The night Mike Tyson crossed the line from legend to infamy. The bite was over in seconds, but the shockwaves would last for decades. Referee had seen enough. Mills Lane waved his arms and disqualified Mike Tyson. It was over. The fight that started as a war for redemption ended in chaos. Holyfield had won, not because he knocked Tyson out, but because he survived the storm. Tyson screamed in anger, trying to argue with the officials, but the decision was final. The fans booed loudly as security swarmed the ring. The baddest man on the planet had just lost control, and lost everything. Reporters rushed ringside. Cameras zoomed in on Holyfield's ear, blood still dripping. The commentators were speechless. This wasn't a fight anymore. It was a scandal, an eruption of rage that no one saw coming. Replays showed the bite again and again, each time shocking the crowd even more. Tyson's corner looked helpless. The man who once terrified the world had become his own worst enemy. Outside the ring, the chaos continued. Fans fought in the stands, bottles were thrown, and security struggled to contain the madness. Tyson was escorted away, his face expressionless, eyes empty. The Nevada Commission later suspended his boxing license and fined him millions. Holyfield, on the other hand, stood tall, bruised and bleeding, but victorious. He had faced not just punches, but pure insanity, and survived. That night, boxing changed forever. Tyson's bite became one of the most infamous moments in sports history. It was the fall of a king, a man who once ruled the ring with fear, but couldn't